This conference will now be recorded.
I'd like to call to order the August 31st, 2021 work session meeting on city priorities to order at 6:30 p.m. Meeting called to order. Are there any additions or removal of the agenda item tonight? If not, would somebody like to make a motion to accept the agenda?
I'll move to accept the agenda as written.
So moved. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Donnie. Would you call the roll, please, Stephanie?
Councilor Norman?
Aye.
Councilor Allen?
Aye.
Councilor Webb?
Aye.
Mayor Hobart?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you, Stephanie. Moving right into new business, city project and priority list updates.
Okay, so staff requested that, or this meeting was scheduled, and the plan was for you guys all to send us your tally of each project 1 through 58. You see before you the results of that tallying. The total is on the left. The projects are sorted, so you can see the ones that you guys basically concurred were the most important are at the top. And then of not as important, so not that they're not important, but they're not as important, are descending order down.
So the top four on top. Okay. Top five. Skate park, what did I put? I think I had it right up there too.
4.
Yeah, it's there.
So
You're the JR column on
your
the
results
sheet
are on there
there,
as
JR.
well.
Oh,
Yeah, each person's got their own. Yeah, there you go.
I'm fogged up. I can't see. Okay. I did have it fourth, didn't I? Or sixth or something. 4. Yeah, I see right there, 4. And it came in 7.5 average.
It would be second.
Yeah, it's second. That's the average of all those combined.
I wanted you guys to see what the score was without taking it away. So it's just in numeric order down.
Right.
The lower the score, the higher of importance.
It's my fault because I put it in number 2.
No, you guys were all pretty close. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, top 10, well, wasn't for Donnie, but.
For the most part, the top 10 were pretty
uniform.
close, all of you guys.
And I didn't spend a lot of time through it because I kind of forgot about it on vacation. So it doesn't mean I couldn't debate it here with you guys and change my numbers a little bit, but it's kind of a snapshot, I guess, of what everybody wrote down.
Yeah, I think it came up with a good list of, sorry if I'm speaking out of turn, but a good list of priorities for staff to be working on. For Josette to make sure staff is working on it, I guess. There are obviously projects on there that will be worked on, even if it's not number 1 on the list. Josette has a better idea of all those.
Well, I think that's where I was, where I know staff is slowly working on them through outside help and everything. So some of those kind of probably fell toward the bottom for me because I know it's just going to take time to go through the process.
So like on the hydrant replacement in First and Class, I mean, to me, that kind of just seems like a function of the Public Works Department. I mean, is that?
Yeah, so the projects, ultimately, the 2 lists were admin and then public works. Remember the ones we hung up? So I put everything, Jeff and I went through and dumped everything we know is on the back of public works at this time. Little, big, whatever. And then the same with admin, things we have on our plate.
Yeah.
Just so you could get the bigger, rounder picture. When I go through here, so I kind of circled the things that are actually moving. And some of them, like Louisiana North-South Connection, the Louisiana Stormwater Master Plan, and the Louisiana Water Main Update are all connected to that money when Betsy, I mean, not the master plan's being worked on right now. We're paying out of pocket for that with the engineers. But all those things will culminate at when that money comes in to do the north-south connection, we'll upgrade the water main at the same time, so we're not cutting into the asphalt. So it's this,
Yeah.
those three things, while they're high on your priority list, are kind of just set over here until the money comes for the bigger projects. We did get the drop down of the first round of ARPA, the 254 or 53,000, because we were slated to get 460. The list came in at 506. So we're going to get 253,000 twice. And then there's paperwork that we just completed today for Betsy's thing, for the money, the 400 for north-south connection. So each senator got 4 million. She gave 3.6 to City of Scappoose because their water, something's awry with their water, and 400,000 to us. And those were the two she spent all her money on.
Oh, wow.
You take some heat for that one, probably.
Well, there's other, I mean, the representatives also got money. So like we got nothing from Witt, but he funded other things and we got our money all from Betsy, right? So they had to pick and choose. They sat, the region senators and representatives sat together and decided who's going to pay for what of all the requests within the region. So I don't know that she might get a hit for it being such a large sum of her money, but I don't know what Witt did. I didn't look into that. I just knew she was the one paying for our stuff. So it doesn't, the list doesn't have anything that's like crazy. Like I'm like, oh, we'd never get that done, you know, or it wouldn't be at the top. Some of them are council and planning actions. The UGB annexation project has steps that it's going through planning. And then what was the other one? The sidewalk curb and gutter change. That's also a Title IX correction thing. So those are kind of not currently in our plate. They're kind of working their way through planning and council action.
Those are Stephanie. Anyhow, that's.
Those are mine.
So it's everybody. I mean, it's kind of a
Gate out.
snapshot of everything the city's got going on. It could be different people, but
Yeah.
The planner does most of it. I just keep pushing.
yeah, keep reminding.
Yeah.
And so the funniest part is the very last item, hopefully will get done
Yeah,
in the next, like, not very long, because we got the,
I walked by it.
yeah, we got the tree cut out, we got the things all cleaned up. We're waiting to get new auger teeth, because our auger was just spinning because it's pit run right there. So we were ordered replacement teeth for the base part of the auger. So once those get, then the guys can put those stumps in, the kind of like a step up and step down little attribute.
Like they used to have it, the grade school.
Yeah.
It's on the second page that we were all four of us that participated. We're very close. And
Yeah.
Dog water.
it's, I don't know if it's because on the second page and we only
You
started on the first.
maybe.
I hopped all over mine.
Yeah, I did also. And like, for example, the Orebomire replanting, I mean, you know that's gonna,
Yeah. The trees.
you know,
waiting for
it's
winter and.
by, December, it should be replanted.
Yeah.
Can't do it now. And then even Hawkins Park, I think he's got one more tree to take out or something like
No,
that.
he's got
It's
all the,
done, yeah.
well, I think it got left on there, Rick, for the restoration part of it.
Oh, the
With
replanting,
Maggie-
yeah.
With Maggie, yeah.
So, those things are, they're going to get done. It's not a top priority, but,
There's no danger or immediacy to it.
right.
But yeah, so do you guys have any that seem really out of order for you or you would like to discuss or?
Um,
Well, you can tell I was on Parks and Webb was on Public Works.
Yeah.
Maybe I still got a soft spot. for
the dump site up on Noakes is that, or are we waiting on the state from that?
Yeah, I've been saying,
And actually, Mary Ann's
already,
put in a new well or something like that?
well, so Mary Ann will need a new well because she's currently connected to her dad's old well, who's now not
To see.
here. And the state has a fund in which they will put that in for her. And then once they put that in through their grant program for, well, whatever, I don't know what the program's called, then they would revisit releasing us from the dump monitoring. So we pay and are required to have them monitor the old dump site.
So what's the holdup on that? I mean, you talk about a grant, we got all this money floating around now. I mean, it's been going on for a couple, do we have to apply for the grant or does she have to?
The state, it's this, it's, so, you know, like with fish and wildlife and stream stuff, it's ORWeb. They have their own state compliance department about old wells or wells and that are non-functioning or leaching or whatever. It wasn't that there was any stuff leaching from the dump to her well. It was just not a very good producing well because they tested it and there weren't the chemicals that you would think. Well, back then we didn't have the dangerous chemicals we have now that people probably put in the dump, the same ones. They didn't find any leaching in the ground. They did all these whole testings. They didn't find anything. I mean, we found people's shirts. You could turn them over and they were the same color they were put in 1980 or whatever. The top was faded. What it was touching the ground was just the regular color.
They
So-
should go test downstream in the river.
They did. They tested at the bottom, like towards airport, the airport down on the bottom of the hill.
Airport's upstream.
Well, no, I'm talking, they tested down on the ground adjacent to the airport.
Oh.
Because they thought, okay, if the rains, if it's soaking, it could leach down here into the soils, and they didn't find anything. The real hiccup is that it's adjacent to her non-producing well, and they want to do another well further out.
Hope they don't stir it up.
Well, no, they want to do it further towards Noakes.
How far away is that well from the actual dump?
It's on the road to the dump. So I don't know if you know where Mary Ann lives. You drive up and there's like a circle road. There's a circle drive. It's just to the left of the circle drive. And if you went straight off that hill, that's the layers of the dump.
Probably been since 1985 or since I've been up to that dump. So it's a long
Yeah.
time ago.
We went up and fell a tree, the big tree that was in the middle, because it was on city property, on our property, but it's in Mary Ann's driveway. And she was worried about it last year. So we went and Tim fell that last year for her.
Does anybody remember what year closed?
No,
I'm
I'd have
thinking
to
in
look
the
it-
80s.
I'd have to look it up.
Been a while.
These are early 90s maybe, whenever waste management came in.
No, there was a person in between.
Well, there was one there.
Yes.
Who bought it or had it
Some
up?
guy
Bob?
had it from Bob,
From Bob.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Oh, yeah.
and then they sold Waste Management.
So yeah, I don't really want to get into the well business at this point. I got enough. So if the state's willing to take it on and put it in and deal with all their hiccups and paperwork, then I'm willing to do that.
Right, but this closeout is for the city though, right?
It is, but it's contingent on the property owner agreeing, them funding it, putting the well in, and then releasing us.
So,
Otherwise, we just have them required to monitor it.
so I'm just wondering where the stopgap is. Are we not doing what we need to do, or is Mary Ann not doing what she needs to do to get the ball rolling, or is?
No, it's the state.
State,
It's the state. They aren't working from their offices, so I'm emailing them and they're on COVID.
they're in Hawaii. They have to get back to you.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Come home from the luau and tell me what's up. So no, I can, every, 60 days, I'm like, hey, just checking. Is there a different contact? And then they say, no, we're still the contact, blah, 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 blah. It's just backlog, I guess. I don't know. Or not. It's low hanging fruit and they don't care. I don't know.
They cannot get fired, so they don't care.
I guess so.
They don't have to be accountable.
Not much.
So are there any other ones that you guys want to talk about? So a little concerning to me is the level that which the Anderson Park and the lake things that just came on the budget this year are like at the top of the list. Because I have about 10 things that are currently flowing underneath those. So is your guys' expectation that I would slow go the ones that are currently working and just go to the top, or what's the expectation from you guys? Because I kind of don't want to, I want to
Well,
reduce what you're looking at, but then part of it's,
I guess I was under the impression that it was going to be a third party deal to come in and fix the shower floors and stuff.
mhm.
But then every time I get an update, it's our staff is going to try to work on stuff. So are we going to do a third party or?
No, so the lake is our staff. The Anderson Park bathrooms would be a company coming and spraying that, prepping the surfaces and doing the coating. That's not us. So one is us doing everything we can and then hiring someone if we hit a step we don't have the skills for. The other one's straight on. And part of what I was talking to the park host about is potentially, since a lot of the long-term work stay people usually use their own bathrooms. Very few of them actually use the showers during the winter time. They use their own little showers because they got water and they just step out of the shower and they're in their own room. And potentially we were talking about, and I got to talk to the company about the temperature to apply, what the temperature has to be. But one option is that we would make the showers co-ed. We would close down one, let them do one whole side, then go to the other side, make it co-ed for just windows of time. I mean, they're all stalled and everything. You're not going to expose yourself to anyone if you had to go take a shower there, or you could use the handicap one as well. But kind of doing it in the stage when we don't have the recreational campers and kids and kind of all the hubbub of summer. So that's what I'm looking at, but that will really depend on the response to my email about temperature for application. Because I don't want to plan it and then they go, oh, it's got to be 50 degrees or something. And I'm even willing to put heaters on them, do whatever we got to do if we need to, as long as it's not a freezing thing.
Josette, I gave that a 7 in priority, and my thinking behind that was we identified the problem. We're moving into the fall season. In fact, I drove through there yesterday and we're half down and for campers and stuff. So it's starting to, be kind of sparse.
Yeah, Labor Day will be the last big.
Right. And, we have the funding for it and we have a possible third party that might be able to do it. That's what my thinking was, to get it done this fall.
Yeah.
So that's why I scored it so high.
Right. I just guess my question is that I can't, as a human, really possibly push all of the things at the same time. So I'm trying to figure out if we are 3 months from now and we're having our project update and say the lake bathroom does not have movement, but travel organ's done, smoke testing's done, garbage cans are, I'm trying to play this game and I don't know exactly what your guys' expectation is.
Well, we all knew the travel Oregon has a date already.
That was one of my things is we have certain dates on some of this.
Yep.
So we need to put them priority. And then the next thing was, what do we have funding for to get, then what do we have material for?
Right.
And then seasonal stuff. There's
Yeah.
some stuff you want to do in the summer, some we can do in the winter.
Right.
That's why the picnic tables weren't that important to me, because this winter when it's pouring down raining, they can sit in the shop, put picnic tables together.
Yep. Or planting all the stuff that needs planting.
Right. And I think that's why.
And then that is one of the things that I didn't see on here.
Well, the ADA ramp stuff, that's already pretty much done.
Yeah, we're just waiting for the install of that.
That's a rip off and put back. That's pretty much done, except
Yep.
for when our contractor is going to do it. So you could almost check that one.
Yeah, I circled the ones that are moving, yeah.
State Park, Randy says the bids have been let out, and a bunch of them have come back because he announced that on Facebook because somebody gave him an update. Wonder who gave him that update, because he says the bids have been out.
I've seen that after we talked to him.
And it was like, oh, so Randy's feeding them information that we're moving forward on that. I don't know.
I know nothing about that.
Yeah, well, that's what he's putting out to everybody. So the community's getting excited about that. I was like, uh-oh. I think the skate park, unfortunately, it's a bad PR if we don't get something moving forward before this winter, at least something started, or at least a plan for spring at the latest. I mean, I think it's going to be hard for everybody to answer the question of why we have the money and nothing's happened in 9 months or 10 months or whatever going into winter.
So where did Randy put that?
It was on a community page.
Yeah.
So-
Facebook post. It was right after you talked.
Somebody asked
Talked to him.
Somebody asked why the skate park had not been started yet when all the monies have been there for like 6 months. I don't know who that person was. And then Randy said, well, I've been told that the bids have been let out and we probably got 5 or 6 back
It's been
now.
quite a while ago. You won't quite find it.
Yeah,
In at least 2 weeks.
that's not even true. So I don't know what that is.
So the money that has been donated, is it in our possession or
No.
somebody else's?
It's in the boosters.
Mhm.
It's not in our possession.
I think we've got to get some help with the boosters on this.
Well, so this is the tricky part is I talked to Lisa Curry Monday, who's the treasurer holding the money. And she's having the same issue I'm having with the stadium, is that it's on public land and it's private money. And she doesn't want to pay prevailing wage for the big stadium either. And so she said that St. Helens built their stadium with St. Helens booster money and they didn't pay prevailing wage. And I said, well, that's interesting because I called them and they said they did. And she's like, no, they didn't. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to get us the wording that we need so both these projects can go without being prevailing wage. And I said, awesome. And that was Monday. So I don't know about anything about Randy's post about bids. I don't even
So
know.
that's what it's about now.
It's been about prevailing wage since Wendy and I talked on May 18th or
Wow.
whatever it was. And then I said, Wendy, I have to figure out how to make it not that, or we're going to only get 2,000 square feet because the price of everybody with Davis Bacon is like double. We're only going to have the product. And Randy said when I talked to him at the fundraiser, he's like, I don't want you to get half the product.
So can't you just make the contract for 249 and let it out? And whatever's not done, have another company come in and finish the next year or something, all the outside stuff, or I don't know if you can split it up like that, but if a dollar amount is the cutoff, didn't you say $250,000?
Yeah. Well, I think their plan is more than $250,000. It's more like the 340 they have. And so I don't know how I wouldn't know I don't know how you would break it down because we're already going to do our stuff outside of that scope in the park. So our money's going to lighting for the park, benches, water fountain, signage for the park. So that gets us our money away from it, right? Because it's not the skate park. We're putting lights in Spencer Park. We're putting picnic tables and a water fountain in Spencer Park, not the skate park. That's how we're keeping our money from tainting it. And I talked to Wendy about all that. I don't know. I'm hoping Lisa is right and she gets us the wording that we can dump in there. And I have 98% of the bid document ready. I mean, granted, I'll have to go back and change all the dates to the right dates.
And I realize the skate park's being dumped on you because Randy wanted you to run the skate park.
Yeah.
He didn't want the boosters, I don't think, to try to.
Because I even said,
The project.
I even tried, could we lease them the property on a temporary basis? They construct it and then it falls back to us. Well, that's not legal. You can't do that. So like, how can I just get it rolling?
And you can't, like he said, you can't break it into sections to get under the limits. They just.
You could, but you'd have to wait the whole fiscal year. So you could do 200,000 right now. you'd have to wait till July of next year to do the other 150,000, which I don't know how you break apart.
I'd be surprised if that would even break it up though, because it's the project price, not how much
Yeah.
is it each year. It's just like Rose Avenue was over several years.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter if it's in different fiscal years, it's the project
I'd have to
price.
look at that. My concern is breaking it into two parts and then how well did they mesh together when you come back later to
Right.
build on or whatever.
To me, it seemed like you could build the bowl and then walk away and then come back and finish all the pavers and everything on the outside of it. That would be a logical split point of a project like that. We're going to do the bowl, we're going to do the bowl. Then we come back and do the outside and maybe coatings or whatever else there is to do.
And you come in and put the amenities.
That's kind of
How long do they figure it'll take?
6 weeks.
You have to get a leak.
That was
So
my, that was my,
Prevailing wage would eat that up pretty quick
what do you mean?
if we paid up.
If you pay prevailing wage, we'll get about half the square footage is what, when we figured who you have on there. So you have, concrete guys, finishers, you have excavation that's not in kind, because we do have some in kind. We're in kind for all the drainage, so that's not an issue. But it's hard because I'm trying to pull off something that's in someone's head and it's in Wendy's head. And our expectation is rope lighting and
we talked about that. I think they need to form a little committee, have 2 or 3 of them come into a meeting once a month
and yeah.
help. And maybe someone from council sits on it. So it's not just you fighting them.
Well, and that's what Lisa and I talked about. They haven't had a booster meeting in 3 months.
Yeah.
Which is hard for me to attend and kind of give a heads up or even talk. And I emailed, texted, and left Wendy a voicemail, and she's not responding to me at all. So I asked Lisa, could she help me with that? Because really this project's going to die if she's not willing to communicate.
Well,
I apologized and I said, I'm sorry if you're frustrated how long it's taking. I'm trying to get us the best bang for our buck and not be half size. And
who's the president of Boosters? Jason?
yeah, I think so.
So just a suggestion that we send them an email, set up a meeting with Jason, the Boosters, whoever wants to come from the Boosters, Randy, yourself, city council, and we have a meeting and talk about the issues and then see how we're going to move forward with who's going to be on a committee and get them together once a month and try to get this going so we at least have a good plan for spring.
Yeah.
Or else, like you say, it's just going to spin around till spring comes and we'll be right back in the same spot.
Yeah.
And
well, and I'm hoping, Lisa said she was going to delve into it because they have to do the same thing for the stadium or they're not going to get the size of the stadium they want.
and
Lisa Curry is the treasurer of Boosters. She's the one holding Randy's money.
okay, well,
That's who I'm working with. That's who, when Randy gave us the money, I worked with Lisa and we came up with what Randy wants provided to him to prove the money's going to the right place and all the reports and all of that. So Randy, Lisa, and I are all on the same page. It's just that.
it doesn't seem like that huge of a project. Even if we had to go prevailing wage, that there would be that many employees on it that would cost more than 30,000, 40,000 more. I don't know. I haven't seen their crew size.
I thought a lot of the initial excavation was going to be in kind.
Well, if we come down, we had to do a prevailing wage. We could take some of this $500,000 and make up that difference because it's going to attract tourism. I mean, we could do that.
Yeah.
If we can't find a solution to this half and half, which is, you probably get in trouble trying something, I don't know.
Well, and so I think maybe what we do is wait till September 13th for our ARPA meeting. That gives Lisa a few days to figure out, did St. Helens do what she's thinking they did? And if they did, then I'm sure we'll figure out how they did that and do it ourselves and then publish it for the world so people like us don't suffer again. And if it doesn't happen, then we can bring it as an option for the ARPA funding to set aside potential whatever we may need if we go prevailing wage or
They're
something.
gonna pay a wage anyway, and then prevailing is gonna add 30% probably, 40% max more on the man hours, right?
Right.
So on a
The
250,
nice part about not doing prevailing wage is the compliance part. Prevailing wage, you have to,
it's all the management of it,
you
right?
have to prove all that.
Right, because you had somebody else doing it on our senior
You
center.
have grant administration, then that is their labor compliance is their job. So we're gonna have to be like, okay, driver, how much are you getting paid? I mean, it's a flipping nightmare if you're not specifically just there to do labor compliance. It's which I get it. I get why federal monies should probably be paying the higher wage so that the Fed money is used right. But when it's private money, I don't even understand why they have any say in it. But they do, so, because it's going on public land. But
You also look into, see if you can split it between fiscal years, if that makes
Yeah.
a difference.
I can ask. Ruben and I have been scouring 279.
I'm sure he would have probably
Yeah.
told you that if it was.
But, okay, so we'll bring it back. We'll bring you an update to the ARPA meeting, if not to your August meeting, if there's something sooner than that. Or I mean, your 1st of September meeting, which is on the 7th.
Yeah, I think that's how it ended up at the top of the heap for people, because I think we kind of feel what's coming.
Well,
Like,
yeah, it's hard because it's kind of a,
it's not really city business, but it is for everybody in the city.
right. I mean, I think
What else does what else does the people work that hard on, So, yeah,
yeah,
I understand it's not top priority for the city for it to function.
right.
It's kind of anyway, that's my idea.
It definitely makes you gun shy when someone's like, you know what, I have a great idea. And you're just like, no more ideas. We're tired of ideas. We have too many things going on.
Yeah,
Because that's kind of,
it might not be sparkly concrete. It might be, but there has to be something they have available.
right.
It's not a big deal, but if it's some,
I mean, that's the thing is I'm really working with one person's vision because those members
that's why,
dropped off.
that's why it would help if Randy was at the table.
Yeah,
He could say, listen, this is going to stall things out too far. Let's just move forward and build
Right.
up something that's
right. No, I'm with you.
good for skating. It doesn't have to be Vegas style. If that's what it comes down to move the project forward.
Mhm.
Something that can throw in, it's not a big deal, then that's another thing. But
Yeah.
I know what you went through on the senior center with everybody's,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Anderson Park showers, yeah, that's something, we've got it in the budget. So that's why I kind of put it up there, because everybody keeps getting told it's not in the budget, it's not in the budget. And then now it's in the budget. So we should get it done while in that fiscal year, at the worst case scenario, I would think. But that's just a matter of getting somebody to come up and bid it, I think. Which could take a while, even if you started tomorrow. So. Louisiana north-south connection, that ranked 4th, huh? I think everybody knows it's going to take a while to complete, obviously. There's some engineering and everything else that got put on here somewhere, right?
Yeah, Louisiana Stormwater Master Plan and then the water main upgrade.
Yeah.
Those two would happen prior to the north-south connection project.
Right, and I think probably for me, I knew some of that was kind of already started or in the works or planned on.
But that's another one where we got funding and it's going to have a deadline. That's a big project. So,
Yeah, so it's 2024 is the,
yeah.
and that's not, I mean, it's really not that big of a project in like its complexity,
Yeah, I mean, engineering is going to do most of it.
right?
I mean, it's.
You're going to put it out to bid,
documents
right.
And administrate that is going to be the.
That's
For
it,
you,
yeah,
but-
yeah. So smoke testing's happening the 9th through the 13th.
Oh, yeah.
So in your water bill, there's a letter letting everybody know what they need to do to fill all their P traps ahead of that, so that no smoke escapes if they have like a garage or a basement sink they never use that's evaporated that out. So kind of a little, hey, run water in all your things for 30 seconds, fill up your P traps. These are the areas we're going to focus on, but it may be anywhere in town depending on what they find. So that's,
Mostly up here or what?
we're doing Corey Hill for the springboard project.
And then me?
And then we're doing the OA Hill because of the I&I going to pump station 3. We know enough is connected there that it's getting when it flash rains, it's getting a huge run to pump station number 3.
Oh, I know.
Lakeview.
I know I'm not connected to the sewer on my downspouts. They run right out on the ground, so. And I put the gutters on, so I know they're not.
So that's what they're doing.
But the smoke will come up the sewer pipe. And I do have a basement old toilet, so.
Make sure you flush it a few times.
No, it's not even hooked up. I mean, it's like in the 20s, it was down.
Stuff a towel in it.
Wooden tank and stuff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
You know what's used to-
you might get smoke in that one.
You might want to stuff a towel in there.
I think it used to be a maid toilet or something years ago.
So that's moving. Downtown garbage cans, aside from them being the metal artwork coming on them, those are getting placed well ahead of our October. We have 6 more that we're putting out.
Speaking of that downtown stuff, is that tracking okay for our public works to do that? Or should we just hire someone to do the rest of it and not have them focus on the other things that you're worried about?
No, so they don't really have much to do with it. The only last thing they're doing is the 10 poles that have water to them. And
And
that,
pavers?
yeah, the pavers will happen when they're doing that. Those are the 2 things they're doing. The garbage cans are already done. I'm just waiting on the metal art from Waste Management
Okay.
because they threw away ours, so they're doing it for us. So once I get those, Mitch will attach them.
Clean up some areas with pressure washing, the little pocket parks and stuff.
Yeah, and then we went kind of on voluntary curtailment, which meant we couldn't do it. So it's been sprayed. It has not been pressure washed until I'm out of, either we're going to go and brush the dead stuff away and do the best to clean it up that way if we're still in curtailment, or if we pop out of voluntary, then maybe on a quick shot, we'd try to do the pressure washing of the bricks. But I don't want to do it and then have negatively told someone, you can't do your house, but I'm doing this park.
It's doubtful that we'll be out of curtailment till the rain really returns.
Oh, what are we in now, voluntary?
It's going to be
Still
mandatory
involuntary.
probably tomorrow.
Yeah.
Probably what?
It'll probably be mandatory tomorrow.
Yeah, it looked like it's pretty close.
So we're going to prep that up. Rachel's doing some, actually Cy Laird is doing some tables, little public seating, because that's one of the things Travel Oregon wanted. So 2 little stools and a little, basically like a slice of a wood table, basically, a stump table, basically. Yeah, and then we're pretty good. We're going to do sedums in the flower baskets, and then we're going to do pops of fake color for the fall because nothing's going to grow very well up there. And then that'll give a chance when Nicole does Christmas, she could pop out the fall colors and put in some sort of Christmas color. And then in the spring, we'll do the big nasturtium.
Electrification of the light poles.
All but 2 of those are done.
Oh, they're working on it.
Arnie came and did all of them, Hamer Electric, and he just was missing 2 receptacles, so he had to go order 2 more outlet things. But those are all done.
Nice.
Yeah, and then the murals are pretty much done. We have some planting at Shea Park, that island that has the trees on it. So there's the train, there's like a grassy spot,
yeah.
and there's the weird little island. Bloomin' Junctions did a scope to plant a whole bunch of native drought tolerant things, and then we're gonna cover that with red bark. That'll be all dialed in. Mitch is going to paint all of the city yellow curbing. And then we're talking with the businesses to paint their own curbing, the yellow part.
What about the brackets and stuff hanging on there?
We have all that. It's all getting installed. So we took down, I don't know if you noticed, we took down all the banners
I didn't notice them.
and we took down all the animal memorials. Those are getting redone. So they're getting wire wheeled and cleaned off and repainted. And then those will get reinstalled. And we have it all down because the drip line, it's hard with the brackets, is that close to the drip line to do all the stuff you need to do. So the guys are going to do the 10 poles with drip line or 12 poles with drip line in them. And then we're going to put all the stuff back.
We could lose our whole crew too, at Public Works, from COVID at any time. I mean, it could happen. They could be out for a couple of weeks too.
Yeah.
It's just, start spreading around like that. They're in trucks together. One gets it and the other one's liable to get it. We'll knock on.
Yeah, I only have one right now anyway.
Oh. Jeff, surgery?
Jeff had surgery on Monday.
Oh, wow.
Austin's baby was born on Saturday.
Oh, wow.
And Jonathan had COVID.
Oh, well,
Did he,
So,
what's been going on since I've been gone?
did he test positive?
oh, well, he was exposed to COVID and had a
Okay.
10-day quarantine and is testing tonight to be able to come back to work tomorrow.
Right. That's kind of what happens. They do start doing this tracing and it knocks out half your crew.
Yeah, so we're still, Chris, along with Arnie from Hamer Electric, busted out the light poles while keeping the water and sewer running as a one-man band the last couple days, so.
Well, the garbage cans look great.
Yeah, and they'll look really good when we get the art mounted and the other 6. So we took the ones from the post office, from the Shea. We took the one from the corner of Mini Mart. It's not going back. The one on the corner of California Avenue, that's not going back either because it becomes just household garbage. Gary Myers wanted to keep his, but he knows that Waste Management will, at some point when all my ones are back out, will quit collecting it. He doesn't care. He wants to keep the one right by his door
That one
there.
gets used a lot at Jamboree.
Yeah, well, and he likes it. So I'm like, well, fine. He's fine with it.
I want to keep the old one, not a new one.
He wanted to keep the old one.
We're not putting a new one there.
No.
Oh,
So we're kind of keeping the cans in the downtown and the side streets, those ones. And then we're reusing the concrete liners that were still in good condition in the parks for ourselves to use. And then Tim will empty those. We had a few that were still in pretty good condition.
the water
Paint
fountain's
up.
going anyway. That's in.
What?
The water fountain's in.
Yep. So I'm not worried about the travel Oregon stuff. I think even if I have a limited crew, we will bust it out. Yeah, I think those things are going to be.
And then I'd like to compliment our crew on the Adams Maple Corner informational sign area. That's really nice.
Yeah.
With
So
nice
Tim went in
chips.
there and dialed it all in and barked everything.
Oh,
The trailhead part.
And up at the school, our little piece of property in there at the entrance to the right, you should go up there and look at what Tim and Mitch have built, a really neat log bench that they got from Hawkins.
It's about-
It's the balance beam. So it's,
See how the
yeah,
balance.
it's
I
like,
guess you could use it for.
you could.
Oh, the tot lot?
So
They cleaned it all
yeah,
up.
the logging show left the rests and the pole walk.
Mhm.
So they used it because Mike's like, I'm done, I'm out. And we used all the wood to use it for other things. we
Doing
need
a
to
good
get done.
job.
Yeah, that looked good.
I'll go look at it. I'll take my new doggy for a walk.
And they took it.
Yeah, I just brought one home from Texas.
Sucker for that.
The girls fell in love with one that ran out of a garbage dump crying and whining. It was sick and thirsty and hungry and abandoned and
Oh, man.
2 months old.
I love it. So yeah, Tim and Mitch are doing good. And then Mitch is working on the prepping the light pole. We got the surface. It's kind of, for lack of a better understanding, it's like a bed liner, a tentable bed liner And that's what he painted his home flagpole with, and it's like pretty indestructible. Once you mix the two things though, you gotta go.
Rhino liner or whatever.
Kind of like that, yeah. And so he's prepping that this week, wire wheeling the whole thing and getting it all prepped up, and then he's gonna paint that. And then we're just kind of on the waiting for Watts and Swart to do their concrete projects, which are Nickerson, the ADA ramps at River and Umatilla, and the cemetery flagpole.
And the base for the sign.
The reader board sign does not have to be poured by them. We can pour that. Jeff and the engineer got some mounting rods that
Oh,
bent.
oh, it's just flat to the grass or something?
Yeah, it just gets mounted, yeah, flat to the grass and two poles. So it's not as kind of risky as the one flagpole. That's why we had to go so deep with the one flagpole, so.
Josette, when are we going to remove the dam?
We talked to ODF&W because Jeff was seeing that it did have a cooling effect, but they said to remove it at regular time.
Oh,
So school
so
starts on the 7th, so hopefully.
another week, next week?
Yeah.
It sure got used a lot this year.
Doesn't it also have something to do with our intake too, though? He tries
Yeah.
to keep it up as long as he can.
Well, that's his thing, and that was the other reason he wanted to keep it up, was because the intake keeps creeping across, push the river, the creek's pushing away from us where we get it. So he's been talking to Maggie and Division of State Lands about potentially making like a little waller so that there's a little hole below where we are, but ultimately to rip wrap that far side of the bank and get the water to stay closer to us.
On the intake?
Get the intake, yeah.
Yeah, it's moving fast up there.
Because if we don't keep the dam up,
We're
because
gonna be
remember when
stuck
the
in
kids
mud.
pulled the boards, they were having trouble getting water. They thought they had something else going on.
Yeah.
And I was down there like, how come the water's still in the dam? And then
In the
Jeff,
pool, yeah.
oh, hey, that's our problem.
Yeah.
But,
Yes.
so, yeah, I mean, there used to be a riffle down below it,
Mhm.
and that riffle is pushed out. And so it is actually the dam backwatering the intake right now.
Make it a little higher.
So I don't, if we pull the dam, they're gonna have to get in there and put a little berm in or something to keep enough water.
The last couple of years, he's kept it up as close as he could get to the salmon run because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but see, then you'd have salmon there and then they don't want you in the stream messing around.
Yeah.
So just catch 22.
Usually it comes out right when school starts, right?
It's been middle of
It's usually the,
September.
at least the second week of September.
We see some good rain coming.
Have we hauled the class up logs out yet?
No, we have not. I don't know what's going on with Mr. Eberts. He's willing to let us do it. And then Austin swore he saw a load of logs come out of Fourth and I'm like, what? And so I drive over there. No, they're all still there. I was like, okay, you're freaking me out now.
But is he hiring somebody to do it himself?
No, we are.
Oh.
We have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So Tim's got to go buck. He did not buck all of it because with the contention. So that's on Tim's list to go finish bucking those.
if they're
And
good.
then once they're bucked, then hopefully one of the wellers will come and load it. Then drive it up his driveway and dump it.
Also, it's going from the alley to his property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
He's gonna turn around if he wants to sell them and put them back on a truck and
Yeah.
whatever.
I might tell him that,
is he taking them all or just the ones on his half?
he's taking the ones that are between him and Ernie to the top of Ernie's. And the ones up top of that, John Seefley owns both sides. The gentleman whose property we're in. So he's taking that. And him and his son have been slowly chunking it, the stuff up by his house and you stacking it.
Firewood.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking at this list. I'm thinking in about 3 more months, we're gonna eliminate about 25% of this list. Will be done. You think?
I mean, there's a lot of little ones. in the
There's-
wall.
Yeah, hopefully. That would be a great hope. I would love that.
15 to 20 gone out of the 58, so I'm thinking.
The replanting, is that like a date already set for that? Because you guys are ready to cat in there and stuff?
For which
We
replanting?
haven't yet.
The Barrow
We
site?
got to do a contract, the whole 9 yards on
Yeah.
that. So
Oh,
the tree planting contract would be easy.
Yeah.
I already have one, so. it's
Yeah, we'll just re-up
change the
that.
dates.
But that's probably
that's kind of tied into the lake campground project and they end up being right next to each other.
I
That's kind
know,
of
it'd be
funny.
nice to use the cat at the same time.
yeah.
Be smart, just do a few circles around in there and hog it out, right?
Yeah, you know, that's,
It's,
there again, I was hoping Parks would kind of, and I did talk to Jason, because I said something to Jason about, well, and he was kind of like, oh, we were kind of wanting to back off on that. I was like, no, we have a cat down there. It makes sense. We got the money in the budget.
You would think
Get something roughed out.
to jump on something meaty like that, they would do it with both feet.
You would
I
think.
still like to do a little, never mind.
Don't say
I do.
I mean, that's your chance to really make a difference in something down at the lake, you know? So I know they started on it.
And we've been having some people camp down there. There was a camper there the other night, and then I think there was a motorhome that stayed there, so she
Just
just started.
Phil on Parks.
no,
So he's not there. He was kind of maybe the driving force of that one at first. So
Well, and Jason's kind of, I think he's dealing with a lot of trying to herd them and get them to focus on one or two things instead of, because it's a lot of ideas
right.
right now. But he'll get there.
I thought last Friday when Dale and Don and myself and Linda and Chris and Austin started on the crack sealing, you know, it was a good learning experience. I had no idea what it was about.
Yeah.
I think Chris really, he was on the machine all day, and the more he was on there, the
Smoother.
better at it he got. And, you know, it's just, we kind of figured out towards the end of the afternoon, what to do and what not to do. And it was a good experience.
Yeah.
I just view it as kind of being a force multiplier. I mean, for the city crew to take that project on themselves would have been, well, I figured there was 44 hours of man hours put in there that day.
Yeah.
How far did you get?
We got maybe about half.
Halfway.
We got the whole path prepped,
Okay.
Yeah, it's prep.
and then we probably have at least half of it sealed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking another 4 hours to finish it, really.
Yeah.
Maybe all day.
it takes a while with the
Yeah.
crack sealer.
Yeah, but
But I think,
Waiting on the tar sometimes.
yes, I think if you got the tar heated up and kept it up to snuff, it'll go faster.
Yeah.
But-
Because we learned there towards, well, it wasn't until lunch that.
Yeah.
You guys were talking about plugged up and I said, oh, Austin said something about using the torch on it. Well, then we did that. And then it was like, man, it's pouring out of there. You know? So it's like, okay, there's a
The
learning.
tricks.
But then,
it only lasts for,
Yeah, but we were using so big of cracks and using so much tar that it was.
Cooling
I think you
everything.
gotta really keep that burner cranked on that to keep melting the blocks. But
Yeah.
I think the key was 2 blocks in there melted and then the third one probably just fits in.
melt.
And then when you go away, as soon as you get that next block, you have that liquid transfer instead
Oh,
of using
sure.
the hot air.
Yeah.
So I don't, I mean,
Just have it touch it and melt it.
Well, Chris, I think, was trying to get it close to being out of tar. But then we thought, well, we'll do some more. And we put another brick in. We went a ways, had to wait a
yeah,
little bit, wait,
Yeah.
and found out that it wasn't plugged up. It was just, it wasn't melted to come out.
Yeah.
So,
and then when you wait, your spout kind of cools down
Right.
and it
Gums up in there.
comes up and then you only get a little stream, you know, and it's,
So you need another torch to keep the,
yeah,
actually, it's got a.
that's what we were doing.
I don't know if he's having problems getting that lead or what the deal was.
yeah, I think it was,
We didn't have a striker for it there at first.
right.
Yeah, and you
Well-
have that because who wants to put their hand in it? You just want to go.
Yeah,
Well, and after lunch, you
I
stayed
went along and I
with
just
the machine.
hit it now and then to make sure it was clean.
Yeah.
so,
But it was, I think Chris had his hands full with the machine itself,
yeah,
let alone trying to heat that up.
Yeah.
And
And it was a cooler day and
The cooler day made a difference because the stuff was cooling in the
Yeah.
spout quicker because it was cool.
Right.
So, but I think them getting a good liquid batch in there and keeping on top of it will help quite a bit. But I think if you do big cracks like we were doing there, you almost need to take that skid plate off
Oh,
and have
Great.
a squeegee scraper to spread it.
yeah.
The small cracks, the scraper, the deal on this machine, if you let that fill up with tar and you went along there, it worked real well.
Yeah.
But,
But when it was just dumping it into a hole, it wasn't. Yeah.
right.
So
If
they're
you
not
couldn't
pouring
fill
it
the
by
hole,
hand then.
no,
no.
No.
I've seen them pour it by hand on cracks out on roads.
we were trying to keep our crew away from that. It's just a good way for somebody to get burned.
Yeah. It's, almost 300 degrees.
And you get that on you and it's,
And
Yeah,
but you got a 5-gallon bucket of water right next to you to stick your hand in, you're just burnt.
Like hot peanut butter.
And we were using different things to fill different cracks. And
Yeah.
Kind of experimenting. We used the cold pack or the
Cold patch.
cold pack, and that seemed to work pretty good. And then we ran out of that and we started using sand. And so we're going to test that out. And then we used Linda went ahead, way ahead, and she did little pieces of the rope and
Mhm.
stuffed it in there, but it would work its way up when it got tar on it. And so it's a learning curve, but
Yeah.
I think the cold pack,
The cold
I
patch.
kind of like that.
Yeah.
Big wide crack, just put some cold patch in there.
Yeah.
Tap it in and then pour some stuff.
Yeah, right over
Yeah.
top of it.
Yeah, anything over a couple like a couple inches wide, 3 inches wide, just
Yeah.
patch it.
Anything smaller than that, you're almost forced.
can't get it
It's
in
not
it.
fine
Yeah.
enough that
Yeah.
you can get it in the little guys.
Anything an inch wide, you
Well,
can
that
get a
makes
cold patch
sense.
in.
It would
You
just kind
just
of
need a tamper.
bond to it real well, probably. Cold patch, okay.
But, yeah,
Yeah, them weren't good.
Sorry I missed it. Maybe I can make,
Hey, you can be on the second half.
Yeah, I don't,
Crew.
do another
we'll see
Friday.
how many bodies we get next week.
Yeah.
yeah, well, we'll get her.
Oh, when you gonna do it again?
Well,
We
we're
don't know.
shooting for next week, but with the outages of my public works, we haven't
We'll
solidified a date yet.
Oh, yeah, not this Friday. I'll be gone, but maybe the next Friday. Okay, what else is on the top of
Get
this?
a 90-degree day.
No kidding.
Right.
It's kind of nice.
ARPA funding determination.
So that's, you guys have that scheduled. It's on your calendar for the 13th. This is the one where you're going to have 2 presentations, Dude Solutions and Text My Gov are the 2 ones, the asset managing of the equipment and the thing that kicks out work orders for maintenance.
Yeah,
And then one is the kind of informational thing when people are like, when's the dump open? And kind of getting away from Facebook and having stock messages that are prepared and ready to go out with keywords to the public for information. And then if they say water leak, it would say, please, anything that says like certain words, you fill in the main frame. So it would say, if you're experiencing water leak, please call the non-emergency number at blah, 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 where they could just touch it, call, tell us where it is. So those 2 presentations, and then staff's going to be bringing you the request list of the things we think are beneficial equipment purchases wise. So we talked about the trailer for the water purification connex, potentially a trailer and a little excavator. And
Trailer.
potentially we could set aside some money for the skate park if it goes prevailing wage. And then one more vehicle because we need a run around town truck. Mitch is currently driving the Escape. And
the one that you're gonna sell.
yeah. And it's just not, he needs something where he can throw stuff in the back. It's because it's a fabric car. It's just not the right thing to shove pieces of wood in or things for the cemetery or equipment. It's just a mess. So we're going to sell that one and hopefully get another little truck that we can run around town in.
So
And then, sorry, with that will be Ruben's memo about the SCCs for Habitat, the information about whether streets infrastructure can be used with that money, all that kind of things you asked us at that pre-mint will come at that meeting too, on the 13th. Sorry, Donald, go ahead.
no problem. The Weed Avenue Storm Project.
Yeah.
We have pipe.
We have pipe, we have manhole, we have plans. I've given it to try and get an estimate for what it would cost if we just had someone else do it.
Okay.
Because yes, Jeff and Robert and the crew could do it with how the surgery and the new babies and all the COVID. We just need to try and pay and have someone else do it. It's not that hard of a project. They're hooking the current manhole to a new manhole out to the creek. It's already been engineered. The plans already exist. So,
Okay, I would be, well, actually on this project and the Spencer, a little hesitant of putting blacktop on right after they've done those. If they don't get good compaction, we're going to lose our blacktop. It's going to break apart.
yeah.
We'll make them do a compaction test and get a third party inspection on it.
Yeah. So, those two projects are just the projects, right? And then the SCA 2021 paving is when they would get blacktop. So I have paving bids out potentially with the new kind of everything peaking again with COVID. I wouldn't be surprised if all my paving bids say we're not coming till spring, potentially. So it might give us these fall months to get those things busted out, give them a winter to settle, and then top them in the spring.
Are we paving in this fall? I thought we was paved in the summer.
We paved the one in October.
Whenever we can.
Yeah, whenever the weather permits it. They've come out in October before. Haas did, and then Five Star did that. I want to say it was fall too, all that work at the Rose Avenue.
We did Arkansas, let's see, we did that in the summer.
Yeah, it just really depends on,
Well, I thought we waited till we got the grant, but we're not getting the grant, so I guess.
well, this grant we already have.
We already have this.
Oh, okay.
This is the next year. Yeah, it's the missing one.
You forget where you're behind.
Yeah. So, yeah, I
Understand.
got you.
Don.
Yeah, I got,
Right. I mean, I would like us just basically get the best bang for our buck.
right.
And if we do something stupid, we're not going to.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely Spencer, they've done that sewer. I think that's in there, isn't it? Sewer line
Yes.
extension, they've done that. So the only thing I have to do at Spencer left is move a hydrant and put in one water service to a potential new lot that's there, but no one's living there or building there. And then Spencer's done. So Spencer's come,
That was a self-perform.
yeah, all of Spencer, yeah,
The water lines and the ditch lines.
yeah.
So we compacted that, either jumping jack or we wheeled it or whatever.
Well, and then people are currently driving all
Yeah,
over
it's
it.
being driven on, so.
So this one's a little bit different because there's not a ton of traffic down it. So it's almost needs to be
Should be able to roll it.
overkill, roll it or sheep hoof it and then roll it or whatever we're going to do. But yeah, I point taken on that.
Yeah, if we're gonna pave it this fall, then we need to try to.
We need
make sure we
to,
get it compressed.
yeah,
Yes, compacted.
If
Yeah.
it's gonna go through winter, it'll self-compact.
yeah,
So
yeah, if we can get them.
we'll be down there filling.
When you say weed, you're talking about right down here by the senior center, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So from Cougar on,
Is that gonna be a half street or are we gonna do a bump out for the trucks to pull up and back in?
we're not, I don't know what a bump out means. What do you?
Hammerhead.
Oh, no. So they were not required to have the full hammerhead there. They got away with their basically loading dock being one side of it. The other side, that tree needs to come out, but that's the homeowner's tree across the street.
Right, I know you said something about that.
Yeah. So it's going to be closer to a half street improvement because we're not going to go full width because we'd be at the front doors of those houses.
I know.
What he does now, JR, is he turns around in the entryway and then backs it over to the dock.
Oh, okay. So he pulls in and back.
Yeah, and he didn't have to back up too far.
Yeah. So that's the plan for that, is that we would go basically pave to the closest side of their current parking areas now, because they all have gravel along there. So we'd be prepping that up, and I've been talking with Eric Lark about, he's the one looking at the project for me. Because they were just there doing the other part of it, right, with the Rose Avenue. 5-Star was both sides of it. So and they're used to the grades and all of it. So he looked at it, asked me a few questions, and I sent it to Terry, who's the bidder. So I'm going to see, is it reasonable? Is it crazy? We have the materials. We just need the excavation and install done per the plans. So they're going to let me know hopefully soon.
That's why those were higher on my list, because those are really things that need to get done.
Yeah.
Short.
I would, the drainage, definitely, the
Yeah.
paving, I would,
Yeah, I'm not, well,
Yeah.
that's the thing. We're not in a super hurry. We want a good price and a good product. So, I mean, I understand everyone wants it all done.
Yeah, you and me.
so the other, which project was the manholes that you don't, they're purchased, but they're not here and you're having troubles getting them here?
That is it's called Milhouse's sewer line replacement.
Okay.
It's number, 23.5 was the score. The manholes are at the warehouse and we're gonna have to probably go get them.
So are they a one-piece manhole or are they like 3 or 4 foot sections?
Oh, Don, you're asking the wrong person. I want to say one is 10 feet long, 10 feet tall. So I'm thinking it's coming in at least 2 sections.
Okay, so, but
They're not the easy riser kinds. That's the kind I have at Clatsop, and they're not exactly like that.
Okay.
Because they had to have specific, they're deep enough, and then they had to have the specific holes cut for
Right.
yeah.
I put that almost second to last because I thought it was almost done.
Well, I mean, it is. We have the design, we have, the manholes are prepared and made. They're just not here.
Oh,
Everything is supply backlog, or they don't have the guy to bring them out, or.
well, I tried to go get some 1.5-inch water pipe, drain pipe to drain the sink, and the hardware store doesn't have any.
Yeah,
I go to Napa, Janine says, if you got a Toyota, I'm not going to supply you an oil filter because nobody in Napa has them.
it's the weirdest
So-
thing. Yeah.
I tried to buy spark plugs today for my Toyota. They had 4.
But I mean,
Where else?
Well, I went grocery
I
shopping,
bought them from the
and the
manufacturer.
whole thing, there was not one pack of eggs
Huh?
over the hill. I went to Fred Meyer, every egg was gone. I was like,
The chicken's got COVID.
well, my daughter's like, who's making all the omelets? Where the heck are the eggs? Like, it's kind of creepy and weird, and I'm just like, what the heck?
Well, in Texas, I've seen plenty of eggs in Texas, but
Yeah,
and that's why I say some of these projects, if you don't have supplies, you can't do them.
yeah.
So it don't matter if you got people waiting. If you don't have the material,
Yeah.
it's on hold. So that Milhouse project could get done if we got the
Manhole.
manholes here.
well, we don't have to do that project though, right?
Yeah, we do.
No, I mean, it's functioning now.
It's underneath their houses.
And
Right.
currently every now and then plugs.
The new house that was just built there, you mean?
No, the old
No.
Credoviat line, that line of homes.
all those Milhouse.
Right, but I mean, I know it needs replaced. We're gonna do a tie in, tie out, or
Yeah.
get rid of a section, but there's not like the state's mandating we do it tomorrow, right?
No, there's just potential risk that we'll pay out if it backs up into
Sure.
someone's house.
Okay.
Because, and we've had to do that before, and it was not
Yeah.
cheap.
Yeah.
I believe Robert
It's
Watson.
like in the budget for 4 years now. It's time to get her down.
All done.
It's an ongoing project from what I've been hearing, JR, that
Oh.
hasn't got done.
Yeah,
First I'd heard of it was maybe a year ago or so. maybe a little longer.
Yeah. The ones that are risky, like that one, where potentially there could be issues. And the other one is, I want to get the Clatsop one done because I don't want that guy to sue me because we're cutting across his property and he's ready to develop.
Get out Weed Avenue, why don't you just attach that one to it too and have them do both of it?
Well, because that one's already on Robert's schedule.
Oh,
It's just the manholes aren't.
got a contractor.
Yeah, Robert's gonna, and it's pretty simple once the manholes are here, right? I mean,
So they've been ordered, but they're not in transit?
No.
yeah, they're over in Metro.
They're in Portland.
Yeah.
So get them. Have Robert go get them.
We don't have anything that will hold the weight of them, so
Oh,
we would have to hire out like a low boy or something.
yeah, it's gonna cost you $1,200 to haul them out here probably or something.
One, how we get them off? Because that was another concern.
Yeah.
At this point, he'd basically be pulling them off the trailer, not lifting them off.
Yeah, because Jeff said the one that he took off for Clatsop, he pulled to the edge and kind of just tipped it, hoping it wouldn't tip over. I mean, they're that heavy.
So what's Robert gonna do? Rent a big traco for that project or something?
I-
If you can't lift
I
them,
haven't talked to Robert about it.
you gotta be able to lift them down into the hole. So you
Yeah.
have something to lift them.
Yeah,
So what did Jeff try to unload them with that he had problems with?
the backhoe.
Okay. So,
That's the only thing we have that would, we don't have a fork or
Have to
anything.
get a self loader in there.
so
Let's bring a forklift up.
I suppose we probably should get a hold of Robert and see if his excavator will handle them.
Yeah,
Because if his excavator won't handle them,
we're
either
gonna,
he or us are gonna have to hire
an equipment. Yeah.
additional machine to do this job.
To rent one,
What?
so he'll have to rent one,
Yeah.
or somebody else will have to do it.
But having a little bit more heads up will be helpful.
Oh, for sure.
Well, and they may have a contingency plan. I'm not in the weeds with them on this one because it's kind of Jeff's baby and I don't really do that. And I trust him and Robert are figuring it out. He just knows that he can't do it with what happened at Clatsop. He's like, there's no way I'm,
But I guess, well, you can check with Jeff or Robert, but
yeah.
another understanding for us to know we're not running into another problem if we figure out a way to get them here.
No, right. Someone's low boy's tied up because nobody has anything to offload them.
Right.
Right. No, I get that.
So there's probably several options. It's just knowing how big they are.
Yeah.
Because Bighorn's got a tilt trailer. Northwest Excavating's got a tilt trailer.
Okay.
Dennis has got one. There's probably several more.
Okay.
And I
I
don't,
just probably got one.
Yeah, you said
Oh,
Northwest
yeah.
Excavating.
I can't imagine that piece of manhole weigh more than 5,000 or 6,000 pounds, so it's in pieces.
but there's
20 foot.
two of them.
Yeah. There's
So-
3 of them.
There's 3 manholes,
Yeah.
If they're concrete, are they concrete?
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
They're concrete.
But if a person could find out how many sections they are and how much a section weighs,
Yeah.
You can call the manufacturer, they'll tell you what they weigh.
that would help the transportation part.
Googling it.
Just trying to get good information out there to help move it forward.
Here's a manhole
Some of those trucks have booms on them where they could,
diameter.
I think that's kind of why Jeff was waiting, is that the truck that would deliver it would probably have the equipment on it to
right.
offload it.
Typically.
But still,
Track.
Right. Well, and potentially, I think their plan was that Robert was going to be prepared for the lower one, which is the one down by Pump Station 3. And that one would just get offloaded in place. But I'd have to pick their brains because like I said,
well, it's something,
I'm not up in their grill about every aspect of their thing. I can check for sure. Hopefully Jeff will talk not under the influence of any drugs tomorrow.
Tomorrow's his surgery.
No, he already had it on Monday.
Oh, he did?
He's home. He's just not,
Yeah.
we've made the executive decision that we are not taking calls from him, so he will recover. It is wife's request that we don't.
They didn't keep them overnight.
No,
That's good.
yeah, they said it went well, so.
How long is he scheduled to be out?
Well, if he's supposed to do it, it's 6 weeks,
Oh, boy.
but
I mean, like,
after his last
duty.
thing, he was making Chris come pick him up and drive him around to look at all the projects and what's going on because he can't help himself.
Don't want to get reheard.
Yeah.
We'll have to do a resolution.
So any other questions or
Yeah. Any other
topics?
tweaks of anything?
Those, I can't find it on this list, but there was a pressure reducing valve that needed to be removed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I went to the back.
it's here. Louisiana PRV removal. It's
Yeah.
39.75.
Oh, yeah.
So is that going to require a lot of man hours or?
So that's with that goes up here with the water main upgrade. Those things were all supposed to happen at as part of the same thing. So that one needs to be connected, which I might sort this list with things together, just so that it's a little clearer. Because these 4 things are all Louisiana, water
Right.
and street stuff, so, yeah. And
So
then,
number 40 is off the list?
Number 40.
oh, the one with 40 as the total?
No, CZ trail signage.
Yeah,
Yeah, 40 total. That's probably gone, right?
yeah.
45.
Cross it off?
Well, I'm not crossing it off. I have
Yeah,
one
yeah.
tree to plant there when spring comes. The one tree died and we pulled it. but
Yeah.
We're supposed to put one tree back, yeah. But you guys can cross it off because or maybe I'll plant it in the fall when it's wet.
That's what I was told to do because somebody who's good at killing trees in the spring, which is me, Lorna said to do it in the fall and they lived.
Okay, so fall,
Or the
plant it with all the other plantings.
Because then you
So-
basically get to neglect it all winter and it loves it.
Number 22, can you give an update on how long that's going to continue?
Which 22?
Rank 22, VPD collective bargaining.
Oh,
Well,
I'll never get to you.
I don't know how long it's going to take. So currently we have 1 member.
Right. Have we been out of a contract for a while?
I want to say,
fiscal year.
yeah, a month.
June 31st?
No, it was like July something, so it's like a month and 40 days probably. The current debate right now is whether or not legally you bargain with 1 member.
Oh, so the.
Because one person's-
Only one left?
One person is potentially going to make the decisions and the poll for everyone. And so that's the back and forth between our lawyer and the negotiator.
So to clarify this for me better.
Yeah.
Is this Connor and Carnahan or just the one officer we
Just the
have?
one officer. They are not under the collective bargaining agreement. They are specific individual employment contracts.
Okay.
It's their management.
Yeah. So that's the tricky part is with Hibbs resigning, and Hanson being terminated, even though there's a grievance happening, then there's only Brown left.
What's the language on having no contract where they can just stay home or strike or what? Is there no strike clause?
There's no strike clause. So in other jurisdictions, what the labor negotiator is saying is some people do it even with 1. Some people ixnay the union. Those are the ways they've gone. So I'm kind of it's legal now. I'm just,
I thought it was mostly done anyway, right? Before Hibbs left?
it was all the things they wanted were asked for. Financially, we cannot afford all the things. So we pushed back and said, hey, if the city were to do this, someone's not going to have a job because we can't fund it. Because they wanted specific incentives for different levels and incentives for whether you had an associate's degree and a bachelor's degree. And I'm like, okay, if it's in a related field, that might make sense. But then they pushed back and said, well, anything could be a related field. And I'm like, no, it can't. To me, it can't. So it's that kind of
3rd century Greek. I got a degree in that.
sculpture. So it's that kind of like, this, I feel like the city's always been really fair in the requests asked for and the requests given. This seems a little bit one-sided, and part of the one person issue is that one person is the one that holds all those things that are incentives, where the other members that existed weren't gonna get that. So it's kind of a weird thing. So I'm just, Ruben's talking with Sam, who's the union representative, and then they'll let me know when they're ready for us to come back with the talkie stuff. Because I don't know all the laws about that.
Where are we at on the county house? That's not on our list, but
The position?
Yeah.
So we signed and we scanned it and sent it, so now it has to go to the commissioners to
Oh.
sign it, and they're legal. So Ruben and I signed it.
so it's kind of moving along.
Yeah, I don't know when their board meetings are, but it should be at the next board meeting after we sent it for approval. And then they've been really, well, they've been really helpful with currently chiefs off using comp time and stuff, and they're helping Sean do coverage and stuff. So they've been up here quite a bit doing that kind of overlap that Pixley talked about, so. I think it's working. I haven't heard anybody, have a bad interaction or something.
Does the Weed Avenue storm project need to be completed before the Bear Creek culvert?
No, so Bear Creek culvert's pushed way down the line because that has to be dealt with when we do the springboard CDBG.
That's all
Spring,
tied
that's
together.
right. That's right.
Tied to springboard.
Thank you.
I guess, yeah, some of the stuff could get wrapped together because you can't do one without the other.
Right.
Got it all separated out and it just added a
Right.
bunch more things to the
So
list.
probably what I'm going to do is, so Louisiana north-south connection, probably what I'll do is I'll make some space and pull these three things right under it. I'll go to the highest one that it is and pull the related under it. So then when we go to what were we just talking about? I'm not seeing it.
We had,
Oh, springboard.
Springboard, right.
Springboard, Bear Creek would come up under that.
Okay.
So I can tweak it and
And
give us a better
when will
look.
that engineering plan begin? This fall? For Springboard?
Yeah, so they're currently doing all the first draw requirements that you have to do.
They started it? Oh, good.
Yeah, you have to put, show the different resolutions that you, for minority business and you this and that and all that kind of stuff. We did have a USDA compliance check on the wastewater treatment plant. He came and told us that he's new to the job and his predecessor didn't do a compliance check that we should have had a year ago. So we were like, oh, surprise. We're going on a tour and showing you all the stuff. He only had a couple tweaks of, things that he wanted us to address. One was USDA now makes cities collect race data, which we thought seemed discriminatory, but they don't feel like it is. So we need to add that onto our water utility application.
So we don't have to do anything with it. It just has to be
On
on
there.
I love how they want to make everything not about race, but they want to keep track of race.
Yeah, and so we're like, so it'll have the different races and then prefer not to answer. But there was a few little things that he didn't like about that. He didn't like that our pay station could only be accessed by the passenger. Like when you pull up to it, it's on the passenger side, because what if someone's a handicapped driver? And
Yeah.
he's like, you should move it to a one-way street. And I said, I don't own any property on that side of the street on a one-way street. And he's like, well, what do the people do? I go, honestly, they drive the wrong way on the highway, drop off their payment, get back into the right lane of the highway and keep going. And there's about 4 of them. So I don't know. I don't think we're going to move it for that. And he's like, okay, I might not even write that one down.
You mean right here?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
That's like me at the bank machine at 5 a.m. I just pull over on the other side of the road.
Yeah, so
Vernonia.
he was happy with the treatment plant. We walked everything and he looked at all the lagoons and treatment and the DAF and the this filter and all that. So that was good.
So when would be a good time for us to meet the new city planner in a workshop coming up or?
So we're actually working on a plan for the UGB annexation project,
Yeah,
to have a joint work session between you guys and the planning commission in order to get everyone up to speed on what's happening, what's coming next. However, it appears as though we need to expand the planning team in order to take on that project. Because
The company.
the team that's going to be on our
Yeah,
project.
yes.
The company, Vernonia is not hiring, the company is going to be,
Right.
it's going to be a process, but they're putting together a team that'll be working on the project. Matt was kind of a one-man show and was kind of doing it a way that you don't typically do those kinds of updates or projects. And so we're discussing how it's going to move forward and what that's going to look like. And then our plan is in October. That's our hope, but we obviously have to get that stuff worked out in the meantime to have a work session with everyone to kind of go over what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
So it is in the works. They're putting together a proposal for me right now, or that's not really me, so that we can move forward with it.
Yeah.
So.
What do you mean by a team? It's just drawing some lines on a map, isn't it?
No, not at all. There's several studies that go into it, buildable lands inventory being one of them, including an application to the county.
Matt told us we didn't need to do another inventory study. I thought he
He
said.
was working on it, several different studies. None of them are finished.
So you're talking environmental impact studies?
No. Buildable land inventory, that's a study for me. There's another thing, I don't remember what it's called. But also when you do the UGB or annexations, you also typically update your comprehensive plan.
And say that again?
You also update your comprehensive plan.
Oh,
And Matt hadn't got to that part of it. So while we thought we were knocking on the door of applying, and Matt might have thought he could get it done in time, we're actually not there. So we're picking up the pieces, coming together with a plan and moving forward.
I thought we were really close to just applying one time, filling out one application for everything.
Well, it's one application that includes a ton of backup information to go with it.
For it to be
One app
successful.
this is
includes
just the
lots of
UGB
stuff.
line.
Correct.
Nothing to do with the annexation.
Well,
They're all lumped together?
No.
We only had
Two
D
projects.
annexation.
Two projects. We de-annexed a couple
Right.
properties
Yeah.
last year, or the year before. Now we're de-annexing another one, separate project. The UGB is its own project. We will be wrapping in the properties that we de-annexed because it makes sense to kick those out of the urban growth boundary also.
Yeah.
But they're different projects.
So it's not just one piece of property and bringing it in or bringing it out. It's this, that, all the things.
Yeah.
Taking that out, bringing that in, it's a big.
Yeah, so identifying the properties that are going to be switched out was the easy part. It's all the other information, because there's notices that have to go to the state, there's the different studies that we have to do. We also have to do a comprehensive plan amendment, the application to the county, 4 different public hearings. So we're putting together what that's going to look like right now. And then we're going to bring it to you guys and say, okay, this is what's happening. This is when we're planning on doing it. This is who's working on the team. You'll be meeting the team, and we'll be moving forward.
We hadn't even made a decision on bringing the whole boot in city or not, had we?
You did.
You did.
The entire.
No, sorry, not city, urban growth boundary. Two different things.
Yeah, you're just bringing this line across.
Right, I understood that, but I mean,
No annexation.
we haven't really got to the meat of the annexation on
We're
that.
not annexing anything. An urban growth boundary amendment is not an annexation. They're completely separate.
Right.
So if there was following annexation, that would be a whole different, yeah.
Yeah, and they would be driven by applicants. So there was an interested party in coming into the city because they would be able to develop property that is currently undevelopable due to utilities, I believe. they would be the ones applying. The city has so much buildable land inventory that we wouldn't be able to force annex anyone. The state wouldn't allow it to happen.
Right, I would think the state, as soon as you draw the line across there, they're gonna wonder, what are you gonna do? What's the plan for this?
Oh, that might have been, yeah.
Well,
I haven't
you
talked
need to
to
have
Steph about who it was.
an urban growth area for your future development. And that, in changing all this, the city is saying, we want our future development to be up by the school instead of over here on the highway where it's already developed and doesn't make any sense to put
Right,
subdivision.
or up in the forest.
Yeah,
And they could come back and say, you have to develop more before we will let you go into this area up here, right?
the state, we're in the application, we're not asking the state to let us annex it.
We were doing
Two
a
separate
swap
things.
though.
We're swapping urban growth boundary.
So we were not expanding our urban growth boundary.
I
Yeah,
understand
We're
that.
swapping it.
yeah, so
So
that
when-
makes it more palatable.
When the person who's interested in annexing comes to the city and says, I want to annex into the city so I can develop my property, there's 25 different ways you can annex or something. It's a lot. That is one of the ways that's basically a slam dunk. The city can't say no, the state won't say no, can't say no, and they get annexed, more development taxes, et cetera.
Right.
So an owner wanting to annex into the city is very easy. The city force annexing in properties into the city limits is very difficult. But that's not a part of our project now. Our project now is to swap out urban growth boundary areas with a new area.
Wow, I would have never thought that would take a team of people.
Well, we don't know, right now, there is a team. It's me, it's Carrie, it was Matt, it's Ben, that's our team. We need someone besides Carrie, or in addition to Carrie, to be on our team. Because Carrie does urban growth boundary amendments or annexations or de-annexations in Metro. So rather than us potentially wasting our money, having her figure it out for the first time, we want to have someone who's done it before, who can step in and say, boom, this is how you do it, be more efficient on our team.
Right.
Being our main point person. Carrie,
While waiting.
Gary's the one that replaced Matt.
Yeah, well, waiting for the team takes some time. It's going to be a heck of a lot quicker to get the right person in Carrie's spot than Carrie to sit there and recreate it.
exactly.
Because she's just not done this type.
Who's going to write the buildable lands inventory?
Right,
Who's going to do the comprehensive plan amendment?
right.
Who's going to do the application to the county? Because it's not a 2-page document, it's a lengthy document.
Right.
We're working on that
Just
right now.
in time, huh?
Yeah. Curse him.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, well, thanks for the update. It's been a while since we talked about that stuff.
yeah, we're working on it.
Last year.
Back end.
Yeah.
So,
So I do have another one here. Weed Avenue Water Service. Is that the one to Bateman?
Yeah.
Is that something that's been in for years and years, or did it start from one point?
So they have a friction problem. Like the distance, the friction created, they're not getting enough flow. Jeff has a solution to that. They're going to connect the meter to an adjacent water line that has a quicker, directer flow to them. So they have a work order for it. It's just on their schedule. So it's not anything once they have their crew, they'll go do that. Just like we have a couple water leaks that are little ones that are in different spots around town.
That's another one of them 15 off the list Rick was talking about. Quick hitters.
Yeah, and I mean, like, the annual reviews, I'm done. So that's off the list. 39.75. They're all.
Seems like a lot of these you could just assign to Jeff. These are yours.
No,
Go.
but that's the thing. I'm not, the reason I brought you everything is sometimes you guys go, we don't know what the heck's going on with Public Works. So we brought you all of it. Admin, Public Works, planning, all the ugly, open the envelope, one big ugly. Yeah, they are all diverted. She's handling the stuff with planning. Jeff's doing this stuff. Jeff's crew, right? They're not all me. So, and that's why it's just the bigger overall city projects, not just.
I think this is great.
So could we get, so it sounds like you were going to consolidate some of these.
Yeah.
Because they're all, could you kind of.
Color code it?
Do that, and then also who's got them? I mean, because,
Yeah.
like as I say, some of these are basically going to be Jeff's.
Yeah.
These are the projects.
Obviously, if there's contracts and stuff to do, it's gonna fall under Josette, is there things to do on it, right? But if it's just,
Well,
Well,
we could be red and blue, and then some of them are purple.
Yeah, I mean, she just got to oversee that they're doing their thing and
Right.
that's her part of it. But, you know, it give us a better idea of really, you know, what your scope of focus. This is all I've got on my, how much
But
is on your?
but the reality is, I'm Public Works.
Right, I agree.
I mean,
But it's kind of a supervisory role. You know, Jeff, you need to do that project.
Yeah.
You've got the plans, you've got the manholes now, you need to do it.
Yeah.
It's not you having to plan it, I don't think.
No, but the overseeing that it's done correctly, I'm still paid out of Public Works funding.
Right.
So I can't just go do it, and I'm never going to come look at it, or I'm never going to be in your grill about it, because I am. Because if my name's on it, I'm looking at it and I'm
Yeah.
making double sure it's all put
Well,
in.
maybe some of those have a different color that.
It could be departments, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe the departments, yeah, or something. I mean, because I assume Angie's going to continue forward with the spring board project.
put some on there for the police to do, sign them.
Is she going to kind of still run
Yes,
that one?
she's the contact, yeah.
I mean, and then.
But the reality that I never talked to her about it or have to be part of it isn't really reality.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like not something taking up a ton of my time, but it may pull me out to
Yeah.
help her figure it out or whatever. Yeah. No, we can do that when we collapse them. I can take off the ones we know are happening, put some dates on ones that kind of push it out pretty easily and get you guys a kind of updated version of what's in with the rest of it. Because like replanting the Barrow site, the lake campground project, and the gravel upgrade at Vernonia Lake, those all need to go together
Probably, yeah.
for at least the initial work.
Yeah.
The first, right, they're all going to use
I
the
mean,
CAD at some
The
point.
gravel,
The gravel
they can
necessarily.
spread that anytime, but
Right.
Yeah, but
I was kind
If
of,
we're
we don't want
smart-
to get it in there and then do cat work on it.
right. And if we're smart, we'd either have Goodman run the grader over those huge, turn up those potholes that just keep coming lakes. Because it doesn't matter if we don't bust the bottoms out of those, the new stuff's just gonna.
Well, if you got a decent dozer, you can do it too.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So that's why I'm saying it's not just a quick Steve He-Man, open the gate and drive.
Right.
It's a little bit more than just topping it, in my opinion, if we're gonna do it right.
So that gravel that's down there already was that,
That's Lakeview. That's
Okay.
for the sewer line up there.
okay,
Stockpiled there, yeah.
That's separate.
okay.
Yeah. So,
So for Spencer.
yeah, they did have to use a little bit of it for backfill and stuff up there. But yeah, so they're all, I mean, there's tons of things in the works,
Yeah.
little teeny.
Well, I'll probably open my mouth when I shouldn't. The grading, so we can put the gravel down, I could probably help out with that.
Oh, okay.
I can bring my old rickety dozer out and scrape it, spread it, and then Steve could spread it again.
Okay. That'd be awesome.
And the gravel we're putting down is just that parking next to the trail. We're not graveling the mud hole.
Right.
No, but it would be good to get it.
Yeah, well, we
Flush.
need to get drainage out of that mud hole out of there and we do need to probably get some, well, you could probably take the high side and push into the hole.
Just don't push it toward the new campground, all right?
Well, it'd be,
I think,
you know, the right-hand side as you're looking in there, we could, I don't know how much, not to look at what the slope is, you can probably push some of that into the hole to get rid of the hole. But we need to we probably need to get a transit down there and shoot and see where we're
I
at.
think we need a
And
ditch
get a-
at the bottom of that hill.
So,
Yeah, which would be easy to have them do when they're putting in that manhole. Have them do the drainage right. at the
And
same
they're
time.
gonna be in there doing their work.
Yeah.
You know,
So it's all kind of a,
yeah,
like web, like, okay, which, pulling this and making
Well-
sure they don't, it's like getting your plumber and electrician not to be coming at the same time pissed off because they're both trying to put
Right.
rough plumbing and rough electrical in.
the parking over there on that side though is, you know, and if you did have your cat down there and just kind of knocked it out, smoothed it up a little bit, because I think it is kind of,
Oh, it's deep in some of those spots, yeah.
and then it's just gonna be set the chains on the box and
Spread it out.
spread it.
Yeah,
They'll spread 3 runs down there and
Yeah.
that'll be, I think that's what we're getting, about 3 truckloads. And people will be able to get out of their vehicles without stepping in the mud and mud holes.
all
Right.
right. Yeah,
I-
Again, we don't want to have the cat work for the other part of it.
yeah, run the burner.
We don't want to be in there on top of new gravel.
No,
So
Right.
I'm
So it's a
envisioning
timing
the
thing.
gravel would be, we can do that actually in the rainy period.
right.
Right.
It's better too.
Yeah.
Can be.
Yeah, wash the minus off and make it shiny. Shiny.
Lock it in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Anything else?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I think this is the first time we've actually put a list like this together and reviewed it every 3 months.
Well, it's the first time you've reviewed it. We've had a list running like this for a few years, but not as, well, you guys did it when you first came on,
Right.
right? Yeah, you've done it before. Yeah, so we've had it for a
Well-
few years. Some of them I wish were missing.
You're gonna redo this and maybe put a target date on some of these. We'll see if we can actually hit some of those. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I would definitely, target date or deadline date or like for, a little bit.
Yeah.
Because some of the things, what I'm thinking is kind of collapsing, I'm keeping one list that's just clean with the order and what the projects are. And then maybe doing a side thing that's like Louisiana, okay, this is the CDBG grant has to be completed by this, little summary narrative, just short, not huge wordy. I'm not a huge wordy person. But kind of detail out some of that. So it's what we're all thinking on the same page. Yeah. And some of them, man, I'm hoping there's a few of these that I'm waiting on Robert and Swart to just bust out. There's like 4 of them. They have everything. They're ready to go. It's just John hurt his knee.
John did? Oh, no.
Yeah. And this kid got a
Sheep
once in a
tag.
lifetime tag. And so
Yeah,
he's
October.
going to the doctor to
Oh, God.
hopefully make sure he can hobble to get a bighorn sheep with his boy. So I called him or he called me and he's like, hey, Josette. I'm like, hey, John, thinking he's calling because he's going to, and he goes, don't get excited. My kids want to be part of Salmon Festival. And I was like, dang it. I wanted you to call about city projects, not kettle corn.
The kettle corn.
That's what they're going to do is kettle corn.
Oh,
So,
I got to test some of that.
oh, see, you're the first, it wasn't poison. They made it, right?
Yeah, is that gonna go off without a hitch this year and the fish and all that? or-
Yeah. We got all that stuff lined out. We had the mask thing and hand sanitizer last time, so we'll just go with that if that's what's required and people can do what they're gonna do in the public areas and then when they get close to someone, pull their mask up and be good. We didn't have any issues last year with people. Claudia's coming. We have the fish ordered. They're getting all the vendors set up. We're lined up.
When is that?
October 2nd.
I was out of town last year. I don't want to miss that this year.
And this year it should be fun. You got the Dems and the Repubs coming. It's always fun on years when they come.
Can they mud wrestle afterwards?
The Democrats and the Republicans, Columbia County.
Oh, really?
I don't know what they're doing. Maybe I don't know.
Just give out buttons and pens.
Yeah,
That's
it's not a huge,
Boxing gloves or what?
maybe we should get them in the ring.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
They were selling more of those nasty women boat pins, probably. I was like, what does this mean? And I didn't know. And then I had to think way back. So I said, remember when Trump got elected?
Oh, yeah.
I went, oh, but they're still selling those nasty women boat pins or something.
So, yeah, I think it'll go off as planned.
What about the wagon this year?
The wagon.
the tractor and that thing. You know,
That hasn't happened since Bill.
it didn't happen the last 2 years,
Yeah.
2 years.
Well, we tried to buy that
Bill,
piece off of, no, it was Casey's brother had the tractor, that old red, I don't know.
yeah.
It was the wagon we borrowed, right?
Yeah, we borrowed the wagon from the farm on the straight stretch right at the corner there.
Lee?
No.
Lee?
No, right before the straight stretch to 26,
Oh, way down there.
that farm. And borrow it again? Can we pay you to borrow it? So,
The Schrader,
is that who it is?
Yeah.
Elmer.
Elmer Schrader.
Never get that.
Yeah. So he let us borrow it, but
Is that out this year?
we just currently don't have, if someone wants to man that, then we'd be all for that. But it's me, Sean, Casey, and Maggie are the people doing stuff for Salmon Festival. That's our crew.
We'd have to come up with a tractor and get that wagon somehow.
Yeah. And we didn't do much to the wagon other than put banners on it and then fixed a little bit of the flip down. There's a loading like board that we beefed that up a little because it was old.
And how did you guys get it here and stuff?
They just towed it
Oh,
just carefully from his house up here.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, so that's the kind of thing. I'd love to have all the things we've always had, but it's like with like 4 of us, we're like, okay, what can we pull off on our off time? So
right.
Because remember, it's not a city function.
it isn't. But you, J.R. Allen, as a citizen can help in any way. But yeah, so the plan is still to do the traditional things. I'm trying to get a t-shirt made because Sally did a really cool pen and ink drawing of a river, like the bottom of the river with fish in it. And it's awesome.
Huh.
And I want to get that on the back of a shirt and then the Salmon Festival logo on the front, just one color, real simple and clean. So I'm working on getting that done. Sally's done a few pieces of art for us for Salmon Fest.
And the murals will be done by then too, right?
Murals will be done by this weekend.
Oh,
They're
this,
supposed to be done by this weekend.
I think they're all done except for the one on Brock Creek in Joy Theater.
Well, didn't I see something? There was some kind of get together about that on
Yeah, there's a mural festival on the 4th,
the 4th of this month.
this Saturday.
Saturday, 10 to 6.
Yeah.
Be there.
The muralists will be there, walk around.
Talk to the artists.
We even had some inebriated muraling go on last night.
Hmm,
One of the muralists had a few too many drinks at Black Bear
hmm.
and decided to paint an extra wall of Marios.
oh, God, no.
And it's cool. It's like a deer.
I saw
It's
stuff
cool.
down there.
He's still working on it. And
There's nothing on Nuffies. Huh?
no, the design they put on Mario's was what the artist came up with, and it wasn't to Alan's liking. And they didn't feel like they had time to do the back and forth, so they're gonna try and get him the next round. What we were talking about is there's not very many when you drive that way. There's a lot when you drive this way. So we're like, we need to get more as you go that way. If people are interested in doing that. But it was pretty funny because Rachel Oregon came and she's like, I need a permit. We had a muralist get a little tipsy and start painting some stuff. And she's like, I don't know, is that even possible? And I'm like, yeah, there's no advertising. Here you go, approved, and send it back.
Any word from Carvin Marvin, Rick?
I talked to him. I called him this last week and he's feeling better. And he said, let's wait till it cools down, and it's cooled down. So I'm hoping, I said, give me a call when you're ready. So,
Cool if that was done for Salmon Festival too, you know.
yeah,
People,
hopefully the next week or two, we can get that started.
And then, did you hear about the bolts and the washers?
who told me that? Somebody texted me, Whiteman texted me, I think.
See 'em.
Yeah, we're gonna go fix
So they're
that.
taking the bolts off the structure now.
Yeah, so we put back all the ones that were missing, the nuts, and we put Loctite on those ones. And then Mitch has got a work order to go through and Loctite every one.
Or we could tack weld them.
Yeah, except that if you ever want to I'd rather do medium Loctite because those kids aren't going to bring some tool. They're just doing it with their hands because the wood shrunk and so it gave it play.
Oh,
And they started, Tim comes in with a bolt. And I'm like, Tim, what is going on? He's like, those kids, come down here. You have to come.
there's a pack of bicycle rats running around here causing havoc at night.
They got all the way up to the top, the highest bolt, and they took the nuts and washers off. I'm just like,
And you only found the one, you didn't find any of the nuts?
we found no nuts or washers.
Wow.
We found the bolt. Tim scoured everything,
The nuts and what?
Scrap metal.
right? Or like my brothers hanging them on their wall.
Use nuts for sinkers.
So we're going to deal with that, but
It's gonna come down to having cameras everywhere. Might be more effective than police department.
Yes.
at least for
Well-
catching them in the act and
Well, we don't have to
documenting
catch
it.
them, and if we do catch them, nothing happens anyway, so the camera may be a better deterrent than the court system. Because we'll put you on Facebook, tell them.
Yeah, just push Hawkins Park cameras play.
Yeah.
Just post camera view, anybody can go.
Well, you
check it
see now there's all those people with the cams and like, do you recognize this person? This person came into Ace Hardware and stole a laptop or whatever, you know?
out. Yeah, nobody seems to ever know who they are.
Yeah. Or if they do, they're just keeping quiet about
Well, are we ready to adjourn?
Man,
Meeting stuff anymore.
it. No, now we're just talking about fun things.
So I'll go ahead, and if there's no other questions or discussion, I'll adjourn the meeting at 8:20 PM. Meeting adjourned.
kept it to 2 hours, that's good.